I felt Xerxes' fireball envelop me as my Dragonheart flame shield creaked under strain of protecting me. The fight was now a battle to the death, a battle Xerxes, as well as myself, knew I was losing. Casting my spells, invisibility, fire, strength and ice, with dizzying speeds, he just tossed them aside with a gentle swing of his arm. Then he struck me with his Eternium runed blade, and struck again. The third slammed me to my knees. I groaned in agony as the fourth smashed my lightning crown. It was too late. I was dead. I sighed, leaning back in my chair, watching the continued screen flicker on my 24-inch LCD screen in disappointment. Not yet. Too tired. Too in purgatory. Hitting the Windows key with my good hand, I scanned a couple of emails. The usual Nigerian princes befriending me, penis enlargements and warning messages from HSBC, even though I wasn't actually a customer. Laura, my ex-girlfriend, once argued the fact that my hand fitted a PC mouse so perfectly was proof that I was made for computers and them for me. Probably rubbish. Actually, definitely rubbish. I'm a self-proclaimed techno-geek, a computer witch for the 21st century. The internet is my domain, and World of Warcraft my coven. Had I pressed continue? I knew I hadn't. I knew that meant I was dead. Bugger. I lit a relic from Laura, scented, called Paris Boudoir, and walked around flicking switches. I knew that this was the procedure, but could not remember why. An eerie sensation of being in the past made me shiver. The street, covered in darkness and battered by rain, was foreign like the past. I was stopped in my tracks by a low sound. A hissing? No. Whispering. It was a male voice. Outside my door. On the porch. In the rain and the dark and past. And no white witch of World of Warcraft could have refused assistance. What are you doing? He appeared as a lost prince protecting his princess.
We're homeless and we're here.
The word homeless almost brought tears to my eyes. Oh, do you want to come in? It's freezing up here.
Thanks.
Her voice was soft and childlike, the kind of voice that could bring out mothering instincts in Myra Hindley. They both stared round my little world. His eyes lingered on my little luxuries like HD TV, stereo and computer. I'm Donald, by the way.
Like the duck? That's hilarious. My stepfather's name was Mickey, like the mouse. He was, that's why I'm homeless.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't be. Better homeless than abused.
I too had been left by my father long ago. Those wounds hadn't healed, and probably never would. You look starving. I'll make you some sandwiches and fatten you up a little. Making food was often challenging due to my hand, but in the dark, distracted and with such speed, I had to admit I rather mutilated it.
That a new computer?
Top of the range, although it's mostly just used for World of Warcraft.
You play that? You're a geek as well as the hen thing.
I like to think I'm a techno-witch.
A witch? You a loner then?
I noticed the boy's hand drop again into his pocket, but this time he didn't look quite like the little schoolboy I had seen earlier. A bit, unless you count the internet.
We don't.
A bright light flooded the room, forcing my eyes to the ceiling. The power was back on, and I was forced back to the present day. I felt an ice-cold thrill shoot through my body, my hands convulsing violently as the world rose up. That can't be true. Worlds don't rise, not even in Warcraft. Oh, I must have fallen. He stood over me with my blood splashed across his face. The third strike was rash and frenzied, slashing carelessly across my torso. Not a death hit, but with no shield to protect me, it was pretty close. And then she hit something blunt and heavy into the back of my head, and they, as well as I, knew that I was as good as dead. No LCD screen, no continue.
He dead?
Pretty much.
Cool. Poor little Donald Ducky.
The world was moving again. I felt nothing, but I knew I was being dragged. There was no way I was making this motion. I noticed the bits of massacred sandwiches that lay on the floor. I had really made a mess earlier.
Follow the breadcrumbs.
My hand was a tiny problem now, my clumsiness even less so. In fact, nothing was a problem. Not my loneliness, not my sad life, not the years I'd wasted pining over Laura. Nothing.
Are you going to live here then?
Yeah, once we dispose of Ducky, sis.
I still didn't blame them. Well, for the killing me bit I did, but not for their life. They were a twisted version of myself, but with someone to fight for. I thought back on Laura as my body slid faster towards the open oven door. How she had always told me that technology would save me. That technology would give me the body I deserved. She was right and wrong in many ways. Time was running too fast. My purgatory was nearing the end before I had time to understand. I knew that it must be heating up. It was a good oven, like all my technology. I was a computer witch. Technology was my coven, my fate, the oven.
Little duck, dost thou see? Hansel and Gretel are waiting for thee.